Hey, welcome back to another episode of The Strange and Uncanny with your host, Dane. We're going to get into some things today. I'm sure anybody that doesn't live under a rock realized that they had released a UAP UFO Files. I'm old school, still say UFO. Can't get my hand around that UAP bullshit. But anyhow, if anybody's got a chance to read them and really go through them, it's, I don't know, I don't even know how to say it. It's they're interesting to an extent. There's a lot of bullshit in them too. There's some things in there that I don't know why they put in there that's already been debunked. The majority of it, anybody that lives somewhat in the UFO world, paranormal world, they've already knew half this shit. It just, it's something, but it's still not a good something. We'll put it that way. I believe there's supposed to be more files released this week. We'll see how that goes. I've sat there and I've kind of really thought about it. I've seen a lot of different clips on YouTube. I've heard on different podcasts that there's a lot of pushback from a few government agencies that have, I don't know, I don't want to say this the wrong way. They have a lot of authority, we'll put it that way. Put it this way, if you got pushback from a government agency or an agency, and they seem to be winning the argument, they're pretty damn powerful. Why we're getting pushback, who knows? I have no clue. I've got theories, but everything's a theory. But I kind of want to jump into this because I've also seen where they have they had talked to, I don't want to say church leaders, but religious leaders, religious influencers, kind of in that realm. There's been a little controversy over some of the things said. Wasn't in the meeting. I have no clue what was really said, but a few of the things that slipped out was pretty interesting. And yes, there was mention of reptilian, which I thought was kind of wild. With that being said, I done a video I don't know, it's been a while back, and I was talking about basically what I thought, kind of what cryptids are, poltergeists, aliens, all that. I kind of want to touch on that again. I kept saying interdimensional, and I mean to say ultra-dimensional. Basically, my theory on all this is they're already here. They've already been here. They're right beside us. We just don't see them. They see us. They can interact with us if they want to. They basically, what my thoughts and my theory is, and I'm not the only one that shares this. I've had this theory for quite a long time. I just didn't know how to quite put things together, and I was sitting there last night and I was thinking about it. But anyhow, they basically, I think that they're on a higher frequency, a different dimension. And then they're a lower density, which means anything in between there we can't see. It could be right next to us and we won't be able to see it. And I do believe that they bounce in and out all they want. I think that my theory is I think that some of them want to interact with us. I really do. And that's where you get a lot of your your sightings, even if it's like a cryptid sighting. I mean, look at some of the cryptids around the world. They sound if you would tell people, and I'm not talking about Bigfoot. Bigfoot's, pretty commonly known. Dogman's pretty commonly known. There's a lot of them that are, but there's some out there that's pretty fucking wild. You got the Loveland Frog in Ohio. That's crazy as shit if you really think about it. Reptilian, let me see. We got the Lizard Man, South Carolina. Reptilian looking. But the thing is, with that Bigfoot, there's a lot of orbs being reported that are in the files, which I find interesting. I think orbs are pretty interesting because I think there's something totally different. But anyhow, I think that ultra-dimensional, you can bounce in and out. I think that you're more of a consciousness, and basically anything you take on is like an avatar, if that makes sense to anybody. And hell, it doesn't even make sense to me. But I think they can shapeshift. I think all this shit would actually come to light if they would let it. I think that these beings, or whatever you want to call them, or intelligence, I think that they want it to come to light. I got this feeling because I think this disclosure bullshit, the timing is kind of wild. I think something's coming and they're trying to get ahead of the narrative. I mean, that's what I think. But if you really look on this, we've got different congressmen, stuff like that. There's people on the UFO UAP congressional panel, or whatever the fuck you want to call that. I've watched some of that. It's kind of hard to watch. It's just, I mean, I know what they're doing, and I understand that they're trying to get somewhere with the whistleblowers and all this. But goddamn, that's like watching paint dry. I don't know if anybody's clicked into that and watched it, but it's pretty damn boring. Pretty boring. I mean, and a lot of it is shit we already know, and they're sitting there talking about it like they don't know if it's true. We all fucking know it's true. They know it's true. Sorry about that. There's other things. There's a congressman, I believe he's a congressman. He's talked about them making alien human hybrids, and he says they've been doing it for a long time, basically. I've heard that on different podcasts. I've heard it through the years. Actually, I've heard it for decades. It was considered sci-fi, but we now know that a lot of things that were considered sci-fi are not sci-fi. They're more reality. And we see that every day. We see it every day with robots, AI, all that shit. But if you've ever, I overanalyze everything, and I don't think it's just me. I think a lot of people do. But like with celebrities, world leaders, all that, I'm sure you've caught either on TikTok, Instagram, whatever, on some kind of social media, you've seen videos of like celebrities glitching, their eyes or their bodies glitching. I think to me, that is either a malfunction of something mechanical, which I don't think that, but it could be, or it is something, if you're having trouble with the avatar that you're in, or if you're a clone and you're having trouble with me, it's hard to tell. I mean, to me, it looks like a programming misfunction, and I'm no computer person. I'm not real savvy when it comes to tech shit and none of that. But to me, I've seen enough movies. I know when a robot glitches and shit like that, what it kind of looks like, at least on TV. Another thing that's been kind of bothering me a little bit, and I don't know why, but sometimes when I get shit in my mind, I can't get it out of there. And it might even tie to this, because, I've got a different theory on things. I'm not really going to get into this one today, but I'm just going to throw something out there real quick. We've got these data centers. and they are just popping up everywhere. And I've actually talked to some gentlemen the other day that were working on one of the data centers, and I guess I didn't realize just how big these things are. These dudes said that they were on building 2 of this data center, and there were 19 buildings altogether for that data center. 19 buildings. That's pretty goddamn huge. And then you start looking at all the places they're putting data centers and already have. And the first thing that starts crossing my mind, how many of these do we need? Why do we need so many? And what exactly are these going to be used for? And I understand that they're, AI data centers, they collect, they do all this bullshit, but what the fuck, there's going to be, when it's said and done, and these are all built, they should be able to collect knowledge and whatever the hell they're collecting, data and all this shit from the fucking galaxy. I mean, come on. Technology, the way it is as advanced as it is right now, and you got to build that many data centers. You can hold how much information on a phone, this big, and you need that many fucking data centers that use more power than just about anything. They use more water that does not replenish. They take up the fucking land. They put off a hum that, it's invisible, but probably going to end up not being good for you. Probably. It just doesn't make sense. I think that everything kind of goes together if you really want to follow the trail and pick up the crumbs. I don't know exactly how it fits together yet. We may be learning that in our future. But I think the disclosure and all this AI shit, there's something tied with it. I really do. I don't know what yet. I don't know if maybe there's something coming, and like I said, they're trying to get ahead of the narrative. You can bet your ass whatever it is, they've lied to us about it. And they've known about it forever. It's the way it seems to go. We're always the last to know. And then when the shit hits the fan, it's, they were protecting us. They didn't think we could handle, disclosure. I think it's way more than that. I think this shit's been written before. I wasn't really going to get into this, but I was sitting there thinking about this last night, and it kind of drove me crazy a little bit. We've got these data centers that I just brought up, and I'm not going to beat this to death, but what if, and this is a big what if, it's just something that crossed my mind, what if we've been down this road before? What if, just like every great, powerful civilization almost has fell that we've ever read about. There's never been a good ending. And a lot of them, we don't even know how the hell they disappeared. They're just gone. And this goes way back. But what if something like these data centers are kind of what, maybe that's what the pyramids were. Maybe they were something similar to that. And I know everybody thinks they were power banks and all this shit. But what if they weren't? They now know that there's large coil columns underneath of the pyramids that go way down. They know that there's a water table under there. What if those were the original data centers? People that get down the Tartarian rabbit hole, and I think it's interesting. I don't know enough about it to get real in depth on it, but I eventually will. But all the buildings that they show have the spires on top of them. What if all this shit tied together? What if we've had data centers? What if we've had, artificial intelligence before? And maybe the outcome wasn't that good. Maybe that's why civilizations aren't here anymore. Some of them are lost to history. Some of them, we'll never know what the hell happened to them. But this shit goes way back, and I was sitting there even thinking about that. And if you get into like the Sumerian text, which I do, and they, they talk about the Anunnaki and all that, it talks about how we mined for the Anunnaki. Well, what if they meant mining, kind of like what they mean with Bitcoin mining? What if shit's lost in translation? I'm not saying that. I'm sure we probably were slaves if all that happened. That's probably how it happened. But just like if you look at the wording and you change it around, maybe that's what they were doing. Maybe this shit is just repeated. We get so big as a civilization, and maybe it's almost like a simulation. It's like a game. This civilization, I'm sorry, I can't talk today. What if, in the program it goes so far, it wipes itself out? Maybe we're just that part of the program. Maybe it's, you know what I mean? It's weird. If you really start thinking about shit, it gets strange. It gets really strange. And it's hard to explain. And like I said, everything's a theory and a what if. Anybody thinks they've got the answers is a fool. And I'm one of the people that, if you've got a better theory, I am more than willing to listen to it, and I might switch my theory. There's just too much to try to grasp, and too much maybes here and there, and ifs and what ifs, but it's fun nonetheless. I still like to get down the rabbit holes. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I've been wrong before. Just my wife will tell you that. But anyhow, I'm not going to keep you on here. I will talk to you next time. Like, share, and subscribe. Help the channel out a little bit. And until next time, peace.